A black man was mocked mercilessly at jiu-jitsu class, then submitted a black belt in 30 seconds. The clatter of GI fabric and sharp grunts filled the air inside steel-edge Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but amid the drills and sparring, one voice cut through with sharp laughter. "Who's this guy? Looks like he's lost already." That voice belonged to Jake Mitchell, a confident purple belt with a reputation for dismissing newcomers, especially when they didn't fit his mold. And today, his target was Marcus Reed. Marcus, a quiet man with steady eyes and a calm that masked years of hard-earned skill, had just walked into the gym. Dismissed at first glance, mocked openly for his size, his background, even his style. But Marcus didn't respond. Not with words. He accepted the challenge silently, letting his focus speak louder than any insult. 30 seconds later, the room was stunned. Jake Mitchell was on the mat, tapping out. The same man who laughed the loudest was now humbled. What nobody saw coming was what lay beneath Marcus's quiet exterior. A former military operative whose skills were forged in the toughest battles, trained for missions no one talked about. His victory was more than just a win. It was a message, and it was just the beginning. Marcus Reed sat in his car outside steel-edge Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows across the parking lot. He took a deep breath, steadying himself. His plain gray hoodie hung loose over dark sweatpants. Nothing flashy, just enough to keep the attention off him. He ran a hand over the faint scar along his left jawline, a reminder of battles far tougher than any fight on the mat. Inside the gym, voices echoed, men laughing, the smack of fists against pads, bodies hitting mats. Mostly white, mostly loud, mostly dismissive. Marcus pushed open the heavy glass door and stepped inside. The air hit him instantly. Sweat, disinfectant, and something sharper underneath. Testosterone, maybe. At the front desk, a young man with a buzz cut looked up just long enough to smirk. "You sure you're in the right place?" the man asked, voice dripping with disbelief. Marcus met his gaze calmly. "I'm here to sign up." The man, Tyler, according to the name tag, snorted and tossed him a clipboard. "Fill this out. Coach will decide if you're good enough." As Marcus filled the forms, he could feel dozens of eyes drilling into his back. Whispers floated across the room, some barely disguised, others openly mocking. But Marcus kept his focus steady. Name, address, emergency contact. He paused only for a second before writing. None. Returning the clipboard, he caught Tyler's amused glance. "First class is free. After that, membership or nothing. Got it?" Marcus nodded once and turned toward the main training area. The room suddenly fell silent, every eye locked on him. The mat was crowded with men in white, blue, and purple belts, all stopping mid-drill to stare. Then a voice rang out from the corner. "Hey, rookie, you sure you belong here?" The voice belonged to Chad, a burly blue belt with a swagger that filled the room. His grin was wide, mocking. "Thought this was a place for serious fighters, not weekend warriors," Chad sneered, stepping forward with arms crossed. The other men chuckled, eyes flicking between Marcus and Chad like spectators waiting for a show. Marcus stayed calm, his voice steady but firm. "I'm here to train. If you want to test that, bring it on." Chad laughed, shaking his head. "You sure? You don't look like you've been on a mat before." "Try me," Marcus replied. The coach, a tall man with graying hair named Coach Daniels, stepped in. "All right, enough talk. Let's see what you've got." The room shifted as Chad stepped toward Marcus, circling like a predator sizing up prey. The tension was thick, men holding their breath, waiting. Chad lunged first, trying to overwhelm with brute strength, but Marcus moved with precision, dodging, blocking, and countering with smooth, controlled motions that hinted at far deeper training. Chad's confident smirk faltered as Marcus gained ground, breaking his momentum. The room's energy shifted, curiosity replacing mockery. Whispers turned to murmurs. Marcus's silent confidence was starting to rewrite the story everyone thought they knew. As Chad struggled to regain control, Marcus's eyes sharpened, scanning, calculating. There was a moment where the noise of the gym seemed to fade. His movements became fluid, almost instinctive, like a well-rehearsed dance. With a swift, precise maneuver, Marcus locked Chad in a chokehold, forcing him to tap out. The room exploded with murmurs and stunned silence. Coach Daniels stepped forward, brow furrowed. "You've clearly got skills. Where'd you learn that?" Marcus's voice dropped to a low, steady tone. "Let's just say I've been through some things most people don't see." A subtle shadow flickered across Marcus's face, a look that hinted at a past far beyond this gym. No one pressed further, but the question hung in the air. Behind the calm exterior, Marcus held secrets that could change everything. Word spread fast through Steel Edge Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu about Marcus Reed, the quiet newcomer who had just humbled Chad, a well-known gym regular. By the next evening, the gym buzzed with anticipation. Jake Mitchell, the purple belt who had earlier mocked Marcus, stepped onto the mat with a cocky grin. "All right, rookie," Jake called out loud enough for everyone to hear. "Since you've been making waves, how about we settle this, me versus you? No holding back." The room fell silent. Coach Daniels nodded. "If you're up for it, Marcus, this is your chance to prove you belong here." Marcus glanced around, eyes steady but determined. He didn't need to say a word. The tension thickened as Jake bounced on his heels, cracking his knuckles. The crowd gathered tight, phones raised to capture every second. Seconds later, the match began. Jake charged aggressively, throwing wild punches and attempting to overpower Marcus. But Marcus remained calm, reading Jake's movements like a chess player. With a swift, calculated counter, Marcus maneuvered Jake to the ground, locking in a chokehold. Seconds ticked by. 30 seconds later, Jake tapped out. The gym erupted, not with mockery this time, but with stunned respect. Marcus rose, breathing steady, eyes locked on the crowd. This wasn't just a win. It was a statement. As Jake tapped out and the gym erupted, someone in the front row pulled out their phone and started recording. Within minutes, the video of Marcus submitting a purple belt in just 30 seconds was blowing up online. Comments flooded in, some filled with disbelief, others with praise, but a few dripping with skepticism and thinly veiled hostility. Who is this guy? Too good to be true. Must be a fluke. But Marcus didn't care about the noise. Back in the locker room, his phone buzzed nonstop with messages from strangers, friends, and even old contacts he hadn't heard from in years. One message stood out, a simple warning. "They're watching. Stay sharp." Suddenly, Marcus realized his quiet life was about to change forever. The mat had been more than just a place to prove himself. It had become the spotlight exposing a hidden past he thought he left behind, and the people who wanted him quiet weren't. Far behind. That night, alone in his apartment, Marcus stared at the message on his phone. "They're watching." Memories surged. Classified missions, covert operations, and a betrayal that cost him everything. He was no ordinary fighter. Before the GI, before the gym, he was a former Special Forces operative forced into hiding. His brother's disappearance wasn't an accident. It was part of a dangerous conspiracy. Marcus's return to the mat was never just about jiu-jitsu. It was the first move in a high-stakes game to uncover the truth and protect those he loved. The fight for respect had become a fight for survival. The next morning, Marcus arrived early at Steel Edge, but this time the gym felt different. Tense, charged. Whispers followed him as he moved through the room, but Marcus ignored them. His focus was sharp, honed by years of training far beyond these walls. Coach Daniels pulled him aside. "You're stirring up more than just gym drama. Some of the guys aren't just jealous. They're looking for a fight." Marcus nodded. "I expected as much." In the corner, Jake and a few others paced like wolves sizing their prey, their eyes dark with resentment. Marcus stripped down to his training gear, methodically stretching, warming up, every movement precise and deliberate. This was more than a spar. It was a test of survival. The gym's noise faded as Marcus mentally replayed every mission, every close call, every calculated move that kept him alive in hostile territory. He was ready. Jake stepped onto the mat, his usual arrogance replaced with a cold, hard glare. "This ends today," Jake growled. The match began with explosive energy, Jake attacking aggressively, trying to overwhelm Marcus with speed and brute force. But Marcus remained calm, reading Jake's moves like a battlefield commander. He countered with smooth, tactical strikes, an arm drag here, a guard pass there, each move setting a trap. Within moments, Marcus transitioned to a dominant position, locking in a tight triangle choke. Jake struggled, desperation growing, but Marcus's grip was unyielding. Finally, Jake tapped out. The room exploded, not just with cheers, but with newfound respect and a quiet acknowledgement. Marcus was here to stay. The gym was quieter now, the adrenaline settling, but the energy still electric. Marcus sat on the edge of the mat, sweat dripping down his face, chest rising and falling steadily. Around him, the usual noise was replaced by thoughtful silence. Coach Daniels approached, clapping a hand on Marcus's shoulder. "You didn't just win a fight today," he said quietly. "You earned respect. You changed how everyone sees this place." Marcus looked up, eyes softer now. "For me, this was never just about proving myself on the mat," he said. "It was about reclaiming a part of my life I thought was lost." He thought about the battles fought in shadows, the scars no one saw, and now, here in this gym filled with strangers who had doubted him, he had found something different. Acceptance. Maybe even a new family. Outside, the sun dipped low, casting a warm glow through the windows. Marcus stood, wiping his face, and glanced at the group gathering around, some nodding, others offering tentative smiles. He knew the fight wasn't over. The past still loomed, threats still whispered in the dark. But for now, on this mat, Marcus had won more than a match. He'd won a place to stand, and a future to fight for. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to smash that thumbs up and hit subscribe for more unforgettable, emotional, and viral true stories. We want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell us, where in the world are you watching from?